Jim Norton is not a doctor. He's not an expert. He's not even a good person. The views, opinions, advice, and humor of Jim Norton does not reflect those of any doctor, of Sirius XM, of Opie Radio, or anyone else. They are solely those of Jim Norton, Lyle Chipperson, Edgar Mellencamp, Paul Hargis, and whoever else lives in that chinless head of his. If any of this advice goes wrong, you are the asshole who called a comedian instead of a doctor.
An icon in comedy, a fighter for freedoms, an accomplished entertainer, and a pervert. You've got problems, he's got problems. You've got questions, he's got answers, some of which are good. Call now, 866-WOW-1-WOW. That's 866-969-1969. This is the Jim Norton Show.
You know, I love that Stacy Keach introduction, but I think if I had to take issue with any part of it, it would be the part where he says an accomplished entertainer. It always makes me uncomfortable. Like, I really think I'm an accomplished entertainer. Here's what I did this week, in the last couple of weeks, and I feel pretty good about myself. It's the little shit. I've been talking about doing a stupid apartment clean, and I threw so much crap out from my closets into my storage units and a lot into the garbage. I threw probably, I'd say 1,500 porn DVDs out that I had in storage. And I'm like, why am I saving these? I'm never going to look at them. My friend Yoshi used to give them to me when he worked for Evil Angel. And a lot of them had my name on it. You know what I mean? It was like a bunch of, she-mail films, Jim Norton on the label. So I had to just keep the label and throw the movies out because he put them aside for me. But it felt so good to get rid of that garbage I didn't need and to just say I'm going to do something and do it. Like, I know I'm like a teenager saying, I clean my room and I feel good. But my apartment looks really good and it just feels like, okay, I'm happy to come home again. I don't keep looking at it going, I got to fix this. I got to do that. I got to clean this. Living in clutter really stinks. And it's amazing how much better you feel when you finally just get off your lazy ass and clean it. Not that it was dirty, but it was messy. So anyway, that was my last 2 weeks. And I feel like a big boy. And sometimes just a little thing like that just kind of gives you the boost you need to have a pep in your step. Let's see here. Mike in Mass would like my take on not taking prescription meds, psychiatric. What's up, Mike?
Oh, Jim. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you. I know your opinion is basically, that some of the medications take away from creativity. And
sex
I want to let you know that is definitely the case with some of the medications that are out there.
Sure.
But I wanted to let you know I've been on medication for 10 years, and you just got to jump around. You really have to take control of your destiny with these medications. If you don't like it, tell the doctor you're stop taking it and just stand your ground, it might be, look, I always tell people, like, I'm not qualified to say whether or not somebody needs psychiatric medication. Like, I don't mess with that. Like, I'll give my, I think with that stuff, it scares me, but I'm doing okay. Like, most of my shit is just, as they say, self-will, run riot. Like, I'm just a fucking self-centered ass, and I like doing what I want to do, and I like satisfying my desires like a stupid, petulant king. I'm like a boy king just grabbing for everything and then crying. So it's more just my selfishness. I don't know what a pill will get me. Like, I don't know where it will take me, so I'm kind of like, fuck it. My sex drive is what it is, which is not always good, but my creativity I can't mess with. But I guess, hey, look, if it's had good success for you, that's great. Yeah, I got to tell you, the sex drive stuff, I don't know if I have a strong sex drive or something. It's never affected me. I've tried like 7 or 8 different common medicines. I'm not going to shout them all out.
Sure.
But yeah, I just wanted to let you know, whoever, let some of the listeners know that, can try medicine. You just have to be really strong and just, sort of stand up for yourself, and don't let some doctor boil you over and say, oh, well, let me jack it up a little higher. It's like, no, you take control. It's your decision.
Okay. Well, if I ever try it, I'll keep that in mind. My therapist had told me to do a different kind, some that fuck with your erections and sex drive and some that don't. So I guess, if I ever go down that road, I will certainly, look for one that does not wreck my erections. That's the last thing I need, is to take already tepid erections and ruin them. All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate the call.
Yeah.
Okay.
And mess equals stress, Jim.
Mess equals stress. You know what? You're right. Mess does equal stress. You feel more organized. You do feel like a little bit more put together in your life.
Yep.
Well, thank you, buddy. Let's see. Harley in Cleveland. What are you, fucking motorcycle or something? You fucking get it?
I got it, man.
Yeah, what are you fucking... Hold on, what are you, zooming all over town or something? I'm fucking hilarious.
You're bringing up some childhood, like, teasing memories.
Oh, teasing? Why, were people calling you a fucking motorcycle or something? Ship will just keep doing the same shit joke until somebody laughs. So you think your friend's becoming clinically agoraphobic? Agoraphobia, for people who don't know, is the fear of leaving the home, correct?
Correct.
Thank God.
A little backstory. I mean, this is good friends of ours. It's a couple, actually. My wife and I mean, we actually went and saw your stand-up special in Cleveland when you were taped it for Netflix.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, and they had a kid, and it seems like ever since the baby was born, they don't leave the house. I mean, they go to work, but the other one's home. We can't get them to meet up with us. We've tried everything. I mean, small parties, small get-togethers. We've even gone, like, as far as let's go out to eat in, maybe 300 yards away from their house. I mean, they don't live too far from, like, a shopping center. But we can't get them out of the house.
Well, is his wife concerned about it, too? She is, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the wife's fault. I don't know if it's his fault. I mean, him and I are still good friends, talk 3 or 4 times a week. I don't know what the signs are.
Well, it's not the wife's fault. I don't know anybody personally who I think is agoraphobic, so I don't know if I've dealt with that on that level, but I don't think it's the wife's fault. I mean, if your wife is cunty, the last thing you want to do is stay in the house with her all day. So I imagine she's trying to get him out. But that's just this really weird fear of something bad happening. I don't know that much about agoraphobia. But what does he say when you ask him about it?
He and she will both make plans on Monday. We'll say, hey, let's get together on Saturday. Great. Let's do this. Let's meet this place at such and such time. And then Friday afternoon, we'll get a call. Hey, we're not going to be able to make it, or something's come up or something like that. But
so how do you know it's him and not her?
I don't know if it's him. It might be her.
Maybe they just don't like you guys.
That's what I'm worried about. And if it's her, how do I broach that subject with him and be like, listen, man, like, I think she's got something going on. It's hard to tell. It really is hard to tell, Jim. Well,
let me ask you, have you, why not just ask, hey, look, I feel like you guys are canceling plans on us a lot. Is everything okay? Like, you guys aren't mad at us, are you?
No, I've done that before. I brought up the fact, I was like, hey, is there something, I did or said or my wife did or said? And they're like, no, not at all. And he always seems like he has more to talk about, but he just doesn't. It's a weird kind of energy I get, and I just don't know really how to bridge that gap to getting him to spill the beans and, really tell him what's going on. And I don't know what to tell him, to be honest with you.
Well, what kind of work do they both do? They both leave the house for work?
Yeah, one's a hairdresser and the other one is a teacher. And so it's not like they're not personable people. They have to be around their jobs.
And it's not like they're not going out because they have to leave to go to work.
They have to leave to go to work, but when they are, the other one's home. So I don't know if it's like the kid. They don't want to bring the kid out anywhere. They don't want to leave the kid. It's bizarre.
It's their first kid?
This is their first kid.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe they're both just obsessed with the kid and they don't like being away from him and they don't trust a babysitter. And as a couple to go out, they would have to get a babysitter. They could, one of them wouldn't just stay there. So maybe that's the problem. Maybe they just don't trust babysitters at this point. People tend to be really protective with the first kid.
Yeah, I hope it's that. The thing is, they both have family in the area, so I'm wondering if, like, keeping that together is, or getting that all arranged is a problem. But it just feels like there's more to it than that. It's weird, because, like, to go from such good friends to not such good friends, and there's no, like, well, this happened, like, to show the slap, and, we hit their kid, and then it's all abruptly over with. No, it's been nothing. Nothing's happened.
Maybe, again, how old is the baby?
A year and a half, maybe 2.
Maybe they're just so afraid something bad is going to happen to them. It's become this irrational thing. Like something's going to happen to the baby when we're gone, or something's going to happen to us and the baby's not going to have who knows? Maybe they're just totally freaking out and being overly paranoid because of the baby. Maybe you could ask that just gently. You could have to say, like, you keep canceling plans and you're saying nothing's wrong, but what's going on? And maybe he'll go, it's just the baby. Maybe he's a little embarrassed that they're so doting and overprotective over their probably marginal or average child.
Something like that. All right, Jim. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, look up agoraphobia. And please, if you get an answer, call back because I'm kind of curious. All of my agoraphobic fans who are probably holed up in the house right now, give us a call. Tell us what pushed you into that place. Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks.
Alex in Virginia, your friend is struggling with pills and alcohol. How can you approach him? What's up?
Jimmy,
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Jimmy. God, after that last couple calls, I don't even know what to say anymore.
Oh, you just talk about what's going on with you, sweetie.
All right, Jimmy. I think that, like, everything... All right, I'm 38 years old. I've been through a lot of stuff. So, like, I think when you live that long, especially, you kind of get to know when you feel good or don't feel good.
Okay.
And different, right? I mean, you kind of get to know when something's wrong or something.
Sure.
Well, something's wrong with me.
Okay.
To where, like, I'm talking about my friend, too. I'm just doing it in the first person, right?
Okay, but it's really you're talking
about that. Right. Yeah, my friend. Or
do you think
really
you have a pill
it's
or alcohol?
really me, but I'm lying about it.
That's fine.
Okay.
Do you think you have a pill or alcohol problem? Because it says friend is struggling.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yes. I just said friend because I don't want it to be like...
Yeah, I understand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's okay. No one knows who you are. It's fine.
Okay. Towards, like, I could have, like, a blood infection thing.
What do you mean a blood infection?
I don't know. I had to get all my blood taken yesterday.
Well, do you think you might have AIDS, or do you think it might be leukemia?
No, not AIDS.
Okay.
I mean, it's definitely not AIDS. I mean, well, if it is AIDS, I didn't get it from fucking, you know?
Okay. Well, hold on. Why do you seem so upset? Do you think first start one thing at a time? The doctor will tell you.
There's things going on, and that's what everyone else says, one thing at a time.
Well, that's all you can do is one thing at a time. So first thing, the doctor will give you the results. So then what you should do is this. Worry all you want, but just don't do it until you get the results. Because you haven't gotten the results yet, so worrying about it now is fucking stupid. I know it's hard not to worry about disease test results, but that one is solved. You've gotten the blood work. When the results come in, then you'll know how to feel. So the important thing right now is you think you have an alcohol or a pill addiction. So you probably do. I very rarely have I met people who think I have a pill addiction and they don't.
I've been drinking forever, man. It's not. I have a serious, like,
and it's fucking your life up.
Type of problem.
Is it fucking your life up? You sound very upset, so I'm taking it's fucking your life up.
Yes.
Okay, and do you want to do something about it?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, but this is something different. Like, I know what it feels like to where, like, you drank too much and you feel horrible and you don't know. I mean, I know that feeling.
Sure.
This is a different type of feeling now.
What do you mean it's a different type of feeling?
Do you believe that maybe, like, sometimes you might have a hunch about something in a different, like, I've drank way too much Jägermeister, way too much vodka, way too much cheap beer, way too much expensive, whatever.
Yeah,
I've done all that.
Whatever it is,
know? I've smoked a bunch, I did it all. And I know what it feels like to feel like shit. But this is a different type of feeling that won't go away.
Well, you know what, Alex? Hold on, Alex. Let me jump in. It might be, again, I don't know you. It might be depression because of what you're doing. So, like, when you got stuff that's fucked up, whatever it is, the only thing I think you can do is remove the shit that's messed up and then kind of by process of elimination. So
right.
Alcohol and pills is a trouble. So the best thing I would suggest for that is to stop drinking and doing pills. And, I've always suggested 12-step meetings for people. If there's something else out there that works for you, fine, go with that. For me, 12-step meetings work. For you, it might be that or something else. But I would suggest
hundreds of meetings over my lifetime.
Okay, well, let's just say that you finally make a decision that you want to stop that stuff, and you take the steps to stop that stuff. Then you see what's left after that. Well, I'm not waking up hungover anymore. I'm not vomiting. I'm not completely disconnected because I'm fucked up all the time, but I'm still feeling off and a little depressed and sad. Then you can address the depression. You just got to address one thing at a time.
What you're saying is just narrow it down thing by thing.
The major stuff first. The obvious stuff first.
Of course I'm doing. It's like, maybe even as much as like, all right, I've been drinking this type of spring water. Maybe there's something in the spring water that I've been drinking.
Yes, but I doubt it's the spring water.
Switch that.
But
that's the point I'm saying.
Yeah. I agree. So you went to get blood work done. Point 1, done. Alcohol and pills, that might be point 2. Maybe that should be the next thing you focus on. That's my suggestion. Focus on that stuff, and then call me back and see how you're doing after a week or two. Maybe you're feeling a little bit better, or maybe you're feeling a little bit healthier physically, but bad mentally. But that's the first thing I would suggest doing. Just try to take care of those 2 things, and it is possible. Okay.
Okay.
I got to run. 'Cause I got to run because I got a lot of calls today. But that's. I'm not blowing you off. I really think that's what you should do. Okay. And but hang in there, bro. Okay.
I love you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Alex. Good luck.
Bye.
Bye, buddy. I didn't think it's funny. I didn't think anybody used the my friend thing. I like Alex because he gave it right up. My friend, it's me. I worry about you, Henry. You might fold under questioning. But hang in there, Alex, if you're still listening. Just, take care of it. You're feeling shit. It's good you're feeling shitty. Nobody quits when they're feeling great. So you're right where you're supposed to be. Let's see. Let's go to Ken in New Jersey. Would like your friend to seek help after their close mutual friend committed suicide. Hi, Ken.
Hey, Jimmy. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Good. And this is actually me calling about a friend.
Oh, yeah, it actually legitimately is a friend. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so quick rundown. Small group of tight-knit friends since we were kids. We're all in our mid-30s now. One of our best friends committed suicide.
Why did he do it? Do you know?
Wish we could answer that question.
Oh, okay.
Nobody saw it coming. I was with him the night before, all smiles and laughs.
Sure.
But, so it's been hard on all of us. We have one friend who so happened to be our friend's roommate at the time. Actually found the note and everything else. Most of us have a lot going for us in life. I just had a kid, new job, girlfriends, babies on the way, this and that. He doesn't have much. He's kind of stagnant, but he likes to put on a strong front. But 4 o'clock in the morning, we'll get odd calls. This is my time. What about me? And then, he always makes references to, don't worry, I won't do what he did.
Is he drunk or fucking high? That's not something a drunk person does.
Yeah, no, he overdoes it with the drink from time to time, but he'll even do it midday sober when he's at work. It's becoming a pressing issue for all of us, kind of an annoyance at the same time.
Sure.
It kind of puts distance. I don't know if he's doing it on purpose. But
it's attention seeking.
Yeah, definitely. But when he adds up little, don't worry, I'm not going to do what he did, it kind of puts an onus on trying to get him to go see somebody. I've set up appointments for him. He doesn't show. I've gone to support groups where he's supposed to meet me, or he's rescheduled. And it's just, it's been 10 months of this and the oh me, why? Or then again, the strong front, like, oh no, I'm good. Everything's good. And then the 4 a.m. texts or calls and him getting pissed at everybody else.
Yeah, he probably just sounds like he's probably drinking too much, and maybe he's depressed too, and who knows why he's going through this attention-seeking thing. But it is draining on other people. You got your own life, you got a kid, and the last thing you need is some fucking grown man calling out, going, nobody likes me. You're like, oh, shut up. It's annoying. It's like high school shit. So all you can do is suggest somebody go for help and try to get them. There's nothing you can do to rescue people. You can listen to them, but after a while, if it's ruining your life, or if it's, causing a real problem, you got to tell your friend that he's got to do something. You don't have to abandon somebody, but there are times where you have to detach with love if somebody's just going way overboard and interfering with your life.
I guess it's more the fear of him detaching from us if we force his hand in a way.
Well, I don't know if you're forcing his hand by going, look, man, you're not doing anything to help yourself.
All right.
That's all you can do is tell somebody to go out and say, look, I want to see you get better, but I'm not a therapist. I can talk to you, but I would rather talk to you while you're doing something. You know what I mean? It's always easier to talk to someone who's trying to, no one minds a friend that's, suffering or struggling or having a hard time. If you think your friend is making it, it's like Lady Di, who we love, and she was in this morning, and, she's such a drunken ass. The problem is you're doing nothing to help yourself. Like if she
I never actually made the comparison, 100%. He's done nothing and we've tried everything.
If she was at least making an effort to help herself, it would be commendable. But she's not doing anything. Someone making an effort and failing is a lot easier to deal with than somebody just doing nothing. As my friend Chris used to say, just sitting on their duff. You don't like somebody just sitting on their duff. So you don't have to give your friend an ultimatum, but you can tell him, like, look, fucking do something already.
Okay.
Okay, buddy.
I appreciate it, Jim.
Bye-bye. JT in Georgia, you're a religious guy, and you want to know why I shouldn't be a religious guy? Hey, JT.
Hey, Jim, what's going down?
How are you?
I'm doing well. I listen to you all the time, you guys, and I love the way that you particularly view certain situations, especially the one referring to the Oklahoma incident, the frat and all that. And you're so tired of the outrageous. I mean, reaction to this thing, and I always look at you as a very logical thinker as far as certain situations and how you react to them, and I always respected that.
Thank you.
And there's a one point of disagreement that I have. From what I've listened to. Now I haven't heard every show, obviously, but your religious views. I'm very religious. I'm not crazy religious. But what is your advice? I mean, if you were to try to talk someone out of religion, if that isn't something that you would do, what would you say?
You know what? I don't think I'd ever want to talk somebody out of their religion. A couple of reasons. One, I think that, hey, look, if it makes somebody feel good, the amazing Randy said that about his friend, like, hey, it makes me feel, the guy called Randy and said, it makes me feel comfort or whatever it makes. And Randy's like, okay, good luck. Enjoy it. And that's cool. I don't want to talk people out of it because there's a part of me that envies the conviction. Cause I'm not 100% sure there's no God. I'm not like in Penn Jillette, conviction that there's no, but personally, I have just, the older I've gotten and the more I've read about science and learned about science, it has become harder and harder and harder for me personally to believe in it. So my only thing is if your religion's not interfering with what my life or other people's lives, more power to you.
I understand that. And I actually hold that view as far as not forcing my beliefs on other individuals. Now, hey, look, I have a right to disagree with somebody's lifestyle. Doesn't mean I'm going to go out there and bash them or keep them from doing what they want to or put them in prison or whatnot. It's just, I have my right to disagree with certain things.
Sure.
And I have a degree in ministry and Bible, a master's, and I also have a bachelor's of science in human development, which is kind of counseling, kind of like what you're doing a little bit, not certified, of course, but giving great advice. And the argument that I've read a lot of science things, and I've actually tried to, I spent a lot of time and a lot of effort in practicing what I believe. And I've spent a lot of time and effort reading those things and from both sides of the fence. And the more I read science things, the more I realize that, they have an agenda too. I mean, they have to get grants and so forth, and they have to come up with new things. And the one argument I can't get over, Jim, is like, how can something come from nothing? There has to be, for there to be something, there's always had to have been something. I'm not trying to get
No, JT, I can only say this, and I can't get too into this only because this is a discussion that I know you're being very reasonable and you're not arguing. This is too long a discussion. I can only personally say I've just had problems with believing that there is an omnipotent, aware creator who has given with this planet.
A lot of people. And I appreciate your honesty.
I look, the more I have problems with the Big Bang too. I think that they're a little off on that, but I do think that something from nothing is possible because I do think that as people, we have quite a brain capacity. But I also think that there are things that we can't comprehend. And I do think that we cannot comprehend infinity. We can't comprehend no time or no beginning and no end. We can only comprehend finite. So look, maybe that's just our shortcut. I got to let you go, JT, but it's an interesting discussion.
Appreciate you, Jim.
And, hey, look, man, if you're religious and you're not interfering with other people, I have zero issue with it. Thank you, buddy.
All right, man.
Thank you. Let's see, Rob in New Jersey. Now, this is the guy I wanted to get to. As more known, my hero. You're dating a girl 13 years younger, long distance, and your parents hate him. So everything you've just said, including being from New Jersey. Oh, her parents hate you. Everything you've just said makes me like you more. Hi, Rob. Rob in New Jersey. What are you stealing from New Jersey? I'm fucking chipping you, babe. Go ahead. Piece of garbage.
I hear what you're saying, Rob.
Can you hear me?
Sure. So you're 13 years older. Were you 15?
Ah.
I'm kidding. Okay, so how old are you and how old is she, you silly goose?
I'm 37. She's 24.
Oh, that's perfectly legit.
Yeah, so we met 2 years ago through work, and she was a really, really cool girl. I had no intention of getting with a younger girl, but she was just really, really chill. Okay. So, you know, we hit it off, and her parents are really, really controlling of her, and, you know, and I saw that, and I was just like, you got to speak up for yourself,
Sure.
You know, if you don't like it, say something. And she started saying something, and because of that, they looked at the problem because she's now having a voice. I'm the problem, and making her do, you know, making her speak up for herself and have a voice and, you know, resist finally for the first time. And that was the start of it. And, you know, and then she went to college, and she's been, you know, we've been doing the long distance thing for a year and a half now, and it's been working out great. Like the first, 6 months were really rough, you know, because she's, you know, in a college town and young girl and all that. So I was having some issues with that. But we worked through them. I would go down there and see her, like, you know, almost every 6 weeks or so. And, you know, it was working out great. Everything was going awesome. And this Christmas came, and I went down to see her because she couldn't get off of work. And her parents were thinking about flying down. I didn't tell her I was coming down, and I surprised her. And then when she told her parents that I came down, they didn't talk to her for a week and a half.
Wow.
And then they said that, you know, they're really hurt by what she did at Christmas. You know, we know that, you know, you could have got off work and come home. They basically think that I convinced her not to take off work so we can spend Christmas together, which I never did.
Let me just jump in for 1 second, because I've dealt with similar experiences, buddy, and I know what you're going through. And look, you never want to try to pit yourself between a girl and her family or a guy and their family, because that's a tough position. But the reality is this: if someone is an adult, a legal adult, I personally don't care what their family thinks of me. I would like them to like me because I'm a nice guy, but if they don't, they don't. It's like, yeah, I'm older than her, but would you rather she date someone her age who mistreats her, or who can't take her out into a nice dinner, who's going to be shitty to her, or try to get her pregnant just to keep her, or whatever that guy does, or who hits her, or who drinks. So you have to look at the fact that if she's choosing to listen to that crap from her parents, maybe there's a normal part of it where it's kind of hard to break away, and you don't want to try to come between them. But I think that as an adult, you have the right from a 24-year-old. She's old enough to be electrocuted by the state. She's old enough to get the death penalty for a cop killing. She's old enough to go to Iraq and shoot people. She's absolutely old enough to have a relationship with you and to fuck you. So what her parents think is absolutely irrelevant. It's nice if they get along with it and they go with it, but it's irrelevant in your life, I think, if you're being a good guy and they choose to be overprotective. That's their problem, not yours.
Yeah, I agree with everything, but here's the twist part is, when they found out about Christmas, they basically threatened to not pay for her college tuition anymore if you know, if she agrees to never have any guests at, you know, her apartment that's shared with 3 other people, and you know, and she doesn't fly home on my dime. And she agreed to that, and then they had a fight about it again a few weeks later, and that's when, I mean, it was a really, really nasty fight between her and her parents. And right after that, she really, really pulled away from me big time. And I've been trying to work it out with her, even though, you know, we both know that they're being ridiculous. She just kind of started giving up on the relationship.
Okay.
And then she started, you know, fooling around with a guy at work.
Yeah, then you know what? She's kind of giving you her answer. Like, you might be fighting for something that she might want over a little more, or she might want freedom a little more than she's letting on. Or she may want distance and not know how to take it or not know how to ask for it, especially if she's fooling around with a guy from work when you're trying to make the relationship work. It's hard with a younger girl because you're in different places in life. Like, you know, yeah. And it's frustrating because you got a hot young one. It's really hard to let them go and let them be who they are. But you may just have to let it go and give her distance, dude. I've had to do that too. And it sucks. You know, college girl, she goes away, she's fooling around with it. Hey, you know what? If she's going to choose the family and choose to listen to that and fool around with a guy from work, maybe it's better you find out now than fucking, you know, X amount of time down the road. But I know that kind of hurts and it sucks, but there's nothing you can do about it.
I agree, but how much time do you think? Should I just let her go and just not talk to her at all, or should I, you know, because that's actually what I am doing. You know, I haven't really talked to her since I found out, and you know, I really don't know what to do. I don't know if I should just keep giving her time and just completely walk away, or because she is sympathetic for what she did, she regrets it and she still wants to be with me, but,
Well, does she want to start seeing this guy at work?
No.
Oh, okay. It was just a thing. Well, then why don't you let the ball be in her court? Give her space. Sometimes when you give people a lot of room, they realize that they like having you around. It's when you squeeze something too tightly and it squeezes between your fingers and fucking glops all over the floor. Sometimes if you give somebody room, you have to take the risk that they're going to walk away from you, though. That backfires too. It's like, when you're going to buy real estate, you have to be willing to walk away. If hey, I'm only going to pay this much, you have to be willing to walk away and mean it. But a lot of times you'll get what you want, and there's a lot of times where you won't. That's my suggestion, would be to give her plenty of room to maneuver so she doesn't feel trapped, and then see what she wants to do. You'll get your answer either way.
All right, I agree with you. I got to tell you this really quick thing, though. One thing, when I knew that I was going to marry this girl, she told me when she first learned how to masturbate in the bathtub at the young age of 5.
Yay. Well, there must be something in her past then. I don't know. Maybe that's normal for a girl to rub a duck on her twat at age 5, but I don't know any healthy person that's had that, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
She kind of discovered it by accident with water.
Oh, yeah, maybe it just felt good. Okay, I take everything to molesting, but maybe it's not that. Maybe it was just, a little ducky or the ball felt good. Oh, well, the joys of being a parent, I'm sure to have to hear that shit. All right, buddy, thank you very much. Good luck with the girl. I hope it works out.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
Okay, let's see here. Joe in Tennessee having trouble being honest with your nephew because he's like a son, and your mom or your sister passed away. Hi, Joe.
No, my sister 8 years ago passed away.
How old is the kid?
He's 15 now.
Okay.
But he was 7 at the time, and I'm raising him, and he's half black. And I heard him and his buddies playing the other day, and he was throwing the N-word around, him and some of his white friends. And so I took him aside and told him I wasn't comfortable with him using the word, and I went into the long history of why I don't think he should want to use that word either. Explained to him, there was a time when a black guy heard that word and, something terrible was coming. And so he just asked me if I had ever used the word. And I have in the past. There was never any malice behind it or anything. I mean, I can honestly say I've never felt superior. Yeah. I've never, nothing like that.
We've all said shitty, cunty things, sure.
I lied to him, and I feel guilty about it.
Well, I think that sometimes telling somebody who's 15 that you have messed up and you've said stupid things that you regret, I think that that's a helpful thing because, and again, I don't have kids. Everybody knows I don't have kids. So parents out there may be screaming at the radio to shut my fucking fat, bug-eyed, blinking face. And maybe you're right. But, I think if you tell somebody, I have said that and I have used the word and it was really stupid and it was ugly. And I don't, sometimes telling somebody through experience why you don't think they should do something really helps give you credibility. I tend to respect people. My dad was sober. So even though I was drinking when I was a dumb teenager, I oddly knew that he knew what he was talking about when he would tell me I had a major problem. Even though I would argue with him, fuck you, I did kind of know because I knew his history. So I think that if you, I tell him, hey, look, you know what? I don't like to lie. I just didn't know how to answer your question. He may be mad at you for that, or he may really respect the fact that you came around and said, look, I always want to be truthful with each other. I think that's more important.
Well, Jim, for the first time, I realized that the younger generation, they truly do not equate that word with, they don't equate it with the bad anymore. The really young ones, even though they know they've heard of slavery and equal, everything that went on in the 60s and things like that, they're so far removed from that they don't realize that at one time it was just such a horrible, nasty, terrible word.
Sure. And that's because people say nigga with the A and it doesn't sound as angry. It's because it's in music so much. Like you said, it doesn't sound like the way it used to sound if you watch old, Klan rally videos.
It may be a true representation that there is change.
Oh, there is. Absolutely.
So,
Well, I would be honest with him, but again, talk to a parent first or someone, because, there may be, again, someone who has kids who would tell me I have no idea what I'm talking about.
It was weird that he believed me, because anyone my age, if I said that, they would know that I was lying, because I don't think there's anyone my age or older that hasn't used the word in their life.
Yeah, you're right. Most people have, or they've, very few haven't. Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, goodbye, you harbor racist. Medic in New York has a compliment for me. Always good to compliment Jim Norton on the Jim Norton Show, unless he's lying to get through and he's about to slam me. Either way, good move. Hi, Medic.
How are you, Jimmy?
Good, buddy. How are you?
No, it really is a compliment. Listen, I'm a black dude. I'm a religious dude. And where I don't always agree with what you have to say, I do appreciate the fact that you try to look at both sides of most perspectives. And I just really like to tell you I appreciate that. You don't get people trying to think outside of their lexicon often.
Thank you. You know what it comes from? It really, the older I've gotten, I always had weird mixes of friends when I was a kid. Like, everyone says, I've got a black friend. But I would hang out with guys, like, from the project, and I really would just hang out with these really weird punk rock. Like, I remember one time in my driveway, these 3 guys from Plainfield came up to my door, and then there was 3 guys, like, listening to fucking punk rock, and it was the most odd mixing of people. And then getting into comedy, you interact with so many different people, and you develop so many different friendships that when you start talking to all these people about all this shit, you just find that being honest works. And then when you listen to them and they're being honest, it becomes harder to write off certain points of view. So you kind of got to look at both sides. Because Patrice or Keith or any of these guys that I've debated with over the years are guys I respect a lot. So even if I didn't see it that way, it's like, well, this is still a guy who I know is really smart. So I can't just brush off his opinion like, oh, that's Al Sharpton saying typically Al Sharpton shit. It's like, no, this is a smart guy who I respect. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
No problem, Jimmy.
All right, take care. Let's see here. The dating guy is gone. Medic is gone. Let's see. How about the Ryan in Nashville wants to try stand-up, but you don't think you're funny. Oh, boy, that never stopped a lot of people. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, what's up, Jimmy?
Good, buddy.
I guess my biggest question is, I've been a fan of stand-up for a long time. I'm 32 years old now. I used to go stand-up back in the day all the time, saw Midge, saw a bunch of the old guys, Zanies back when I was in my teens and 20s. But my biggest thing is, I guess, to preface this, whatever you want to say, I did smoke pot for a long time, did a lot of drugs, and I've been clean now for maybe a year, 2 years, maybe a year. But I feel like I'm kind of getting some of that brain function back that I used to have, and it's not so much that I don't think I'm funny. I've always been able to get a laugh, this, that, and the other. I just don't even know, should I even try? I mean, I know how to go about it, like improv or...
Sure, why shouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I understand how to go about it from listening to you guys all the time, but I guess I'm even nervous. Like, I've never even written anything. Like, how did you really understand that you thought you were funny? Or where does that even, kind of where does that come from, I guess?
It was always the most identifiable feature. I always thought, like, I have very low self-esteem, and I always thought, like, I'm not good at a lot of things, but I always knew I was able to make people laugh. Like, that to me is the first thing the first quality I internally identify with myself is that I'm funny. So, I mean, maybe there's other good things about me, but that to me was always the biggest, the most important. So, I always knew I was good at that. So being a comic is all I ever wanted, and I've told the story many times. When I was about 12 and I saw Richard Pryor, or I would watch Robert Klein, I would watch Rodney on The Tonight Show, and I just knew I wanted to do what these guys were doing. I wanted to take what made me funny with my friends and be a big famous person, So, it was something I always kind of knew. So it was a goal of mine. I was afraid to try it because I was afraid of losing the fantasy. So if you think that you might want to try it and you've always been able to make people laugh, you got to wonder, why am I not trying it? What am I afraid of? Bombing is, look, we're all afraid of bombing, but that's a survivable thing. I think it goes beyond that. I think people are scared of losing that daydream that they have.
And honestly, I guess that's my biggest issue is I wasn't that person. I was the one who always tuned this. I guess it's kind of been more of, since I really, I've always been a fan of stand-up, but since I really got away from the drugs and stuff, I feel like now it's like, man, I had these introspective thoughts like you guys do. Like I love your quick-wittedness on your, on the, Opie and Jimmy show, all that stuff. Like, and I kind of feel like I can do that in my head, but that's not been. When I listen to most stand-ups, I don't. It's not the same route that all of them have had. You know what I mean?
The only thing I can suggest is to go up on stage a few times and try it. Like you'll have a good experience even if it's bad or you bomb, because you'll always know you tried something that people are scared of. Like, the worst that can happen is you don't get laughs. You're not going to die from it. It's not going to wreck your life. You're just going to go up and I think the worst that can happen is, hey, man, I wasn't good at this and I kind of hoped I would be. But at least you'll have the balls to say, I tried it. I always get heartbroken when I hear guys in their 40s say they never tried it. Plenty of guys try it and fail. But at least they know, hey, man, I gave that a shot, and then I had kids, and that was the route I went, and I got a regular job. But to not try it, I think you're robbing yourself. So just give it a shot. The worst that can happen is it doesn't work.
Any tips on starting kind of writing? Like, how did you approach that to begin with?
I used to work on a packing line for Christoph Silver and Laocoste Lamps. They're companies I worked for. And I would write stuff on the back of packing slips. Whenever I thought of jokes, I would write them down. Write down everything you think might be funny. Realize that most of it is shit. And you have to realize the ratio funny to unfunny is probably 15 to 85 in favor of unfunny, 85 first. But the 15% that's funny is really good. So just give yourself the leeway of writing everything down, hone it, try to make it as simple as possible. You know, it's a craft. It's like anything else. All right, buddy?
Thanks, man.
All right, good luck. Let's see here. Tom in Iowa, struggling alcoholic, and you want to talk to me. Hi, buddy.
Hello, are you there?
I am, Tom.
Oh, okay. I'm 62 years old. I've driven truck for 42 fucking years.
42 years? Wow.
Yeah, 6 million miles.
Jesus.
And I'm working for a real good company right now, but like all good alcoholics, you got to have a reason, a crutch.
Sure.
And my best friend died on Monday.
What did he die of?
Cancer of the, oh, shit. That's awful, and it kills you real quick,
Oh, yeah, pancreatic?
Yes, that's it, yeah. And I was on a load that wasn't time crucial, so I decided it'd be a good time to get fucking drunk.
Okay.
And I drank, I don't know how much Jim Beam straight, and I am so sick today. I quit drinking yesterday.
Okay, good, man.
And I live over in Des Moines, and I'm on my way over there now, but I just, I feel so bad about him, and,
sure.
And I haven't taken a week off probably 2 years.
Well, you know what, Tom, sometimes I find in life that, like, I never want to believe that somebody died so I could live. It doesn't work that way. But I do find that sometimes a shit situation or a really depressing or sad thing can motivate a person to do something really good for themselves. Like, it can just jar us. And maybe that, your friend dying, you had that last awful drunk and you never have to feel this way again. Like, that's the good part is, like, from today forward, if you decide that you want to do what's necessary to get sober, you don't have to feel that way anymore. So maybe you take a horrible situation and you use it to springboard into something good. I mean, that's the only good that can come out of someone dying is that you take it and you turn your life around, or you quit smoking, or you quit drinking, or whatever it is that makes you get healthier.
I'm going to his funeral is Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
And the little shit, he's never a strong guy.
No.
But he worked hard work. And they didn't find this until the 10th of January. And he died Monday. That's how fast that went.
Yeah, pancreatic, dude. I don't know much about cancers other than I've been called one. But I know that they're pretty fucking, pancreatic's a motherfucker, man. That one, like, Steve Jobs had the one that was apparently pretty curable if you deal with it. And I know prostate is survivable. Colon, I think Sharon Osbourne. But pancreatic is it's like a brush fire. So I'm sorry to hear about your friend. It sucks.
He went and did 2 chemo treatments.
Yeah.
They said it might buy him 30 days, maybe.
Well, I would only suggest, Tom, I would just suggest, try to use it to try to take such an awful experience and just use it to move forward and live a better life. That's all you can do.
You know what? I want to tell you this. I know you got to go.
Okay, buddy.
I love listening to your show, and I've listened to it's on my truck all the time. I sleep with you guys yakking.
Well, thank you.
It's such a companion for me. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks, Tom, and good luck, man. I hope you do the right thing. And a lot of people have said, Jim, you're inspirational. And I think that's the way most phone calls should start. From this point forward, I want a compliment. I'm kidding, Tom. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Be good, buddy. See that I try to take a sad situation and make a smile out of it. So from now on, a compliment to begin the calls. Take back the I was kidding. Jim, you're an inspiration. Jim, I owe this to... All right, let's see here. Jim in New Jersey. Maybe I'm calling myself. What a card. Advice about knowing if you're funny or not. Hi, Jim.
Hey, Jimmy. How you doing? Great to speak with you. Great job. I echo the sentiments of the previous call. You do a great job. I love this show.
Thank you, Jim. Stop. You're embarrassing me. What's up,
buddy?
buddy?
Inspiration indeed. But just real quick, I had a great example when that guy was asking me about how do I know if I'm funny.
Okay.
And there was a great, I don't know if it became the line of the day, but it should have been. It was your comment about Lady Di not wanting to see, I think it's Adrian's dick, backed by some turds falling out of his ass. I almost ran off the road when I heard you say that. But that's the kind of thing that he needs to be thinking about if he thinks he has a future in comedy. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If he's listening to the show, basically make comments to yourself that you think are funny or throw them out there. I find myself doing it once in a while, not as frequently as you, but I think that's the key. If you can make fun of something very quickly, you probably have a good run at it potentially.
Well,
anyway,
thanks, Jim.
man.
Thank you, buddy.
No worries.
And part of it is, I mean, I'm good at moving a little fast at that stuff just because, again, I've been doing it for so long. Like, there's a rhythm you get into with anything, whether it's stand-up or doing radio, and that's a different muscle. Like, because radio is much more reactionary. Stand-up, you're alone by yourself up there, and you kind of have to create everything. You have to create the reaction. So I'm out with this girl, and she goes, I'm on my period, and I go, what? Like, you have to make that whole discussion, whereas in a radio discussion, you're literally just honestly bouncing off of people, and it's a totally different animal. So that just comes from doing it a long time. Those skills are interchangeable, but a lot of times, man, they aren't. Like, you know what I mean? You're really good at one, and it doesn't affect the other one either good or bad. I'm babbling. So thank you for that.
Fair point. Have a good one, buddy.
Okay, buddy. Dave in Chicago, brother committed suicide 38 years ago. Wow. What's up, Dave?
Hey, Jim.
Hi, buddy.
I think you're an amazing talent.
Well, thank you. How old was your brother when he? How old was
my brother was 27.
Okay.
Wonderful guy. Hung around with some bad guys, and wound up. The cops came to his door, and he wound up shooting himself.
Wow.
And I never, actually, you're like the first person I've ever talked to about this. I don't talk about it with my friends. I don't talk with my girlfriend. I've been with my girlfriend 11 years, never told her. Always said he died in an accident.
Okay.
And I just don't know how to bring it up to her. I don't know how to, bring the subject up.
Well, let me ask you a question. Why do you lie about it?
I don't know. It's like an embarrassment. It's not an embarrassment for me, but more for him, actually. I feel like I'm betraying him for some reason.
No, you're not betraying him by being truthful about him killing himself. It shouldn't be a secret because, again, it wasn't a secretive thing. There's no shame for you in it. He made a decision to kill himself, and it's not a good, again, who knows? I don't know if he was facing jail or whatever, but I don't see anything wrong with conveying what really happened in your family. I really don't. Who knows?
Yeah,
maybe that would help someone else who's had a suicide to deal with.
The hard thing is that he was such a great guy, and I can't tell people how great he was. I mean, it just feels, I don't know.
Sure you can. You can tell people how great he was. You can tell people everything about him that was truthful. He was a great guy. He was a flawed guy. He ended his life in a way that I wish he hadn't. He can be all of those things. He doesn't have to be any one of those things. Like, he doesn't only have to be a great guy. He can be a great guy with flaws.
It just seems that the final thing people will remember about him is the way he killed himself. And it's kind of hard.
Yeah, it's probably just hard for you to talk about and for you to deal with, and maybe you'll get emotional in front of your girlfriend and you'll have to relive it.
Yeah.
But it's still, I personally don't think you should lie about it. Because that's not the only, that is like a big thing when someone kills themselves, like Robin, but it's the last moment on earth for somebody. Right. So it kind of is, it's their sign off.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that there isn't, like, people who feel very sad about Robin Williams, who loved Robin Williams and are devastated and shocked that he killed himself. People still think he was funny. People still think his movies are good. Even though that's kind of there lurking, there is still another part of him that people really like.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should lie about it because, again, it's like opening the door and letting the stink out of a room is a lot better than keeping the door locked and then sneaking in there every once in a while and keeping the door closed.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'll feel better once it's out. Actually, sometimes the keeping the secret is the hard part.
I understand, man. I would say let it out. It's nothing to be ashamed of. You didn't do anything wrong. And look, he chose to do that, and you can still honor him and be truthful about the decision he made, which was probably a bad decision.
Yeah.
All right.
And it was. I think if he had thought about it, it's especially nowadays, it's not such a big thing. But I think back, this happened in 1977, so it's I think the stigma of going to prison was more than he thought. It was a bigger thing than it is now.
Yeah, I would suggest just being honest about it. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim.
All right, Dave.
Have a great day.
All right, guys, I appreciate it. I got to wrap up because we are out of time. They have a few ads to do. Thank you for the call. Some really good ones. And I'll be back next week unless, of course, I'm killed. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to The Jim Norton Show. Hear all that advice whenever you want to on demand at SiriusXM.com/on-demand. On Sirius XM is real.